Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pearls of Wisdom. It's going to be full moon again. It's just incredible how fast the time is going in the moment. This is just absolutely difficult to catch up. And I have many friends around me that are sick, and I was really sick too. And I think there is a cleansing and a purging going on. And when I look at the chart, it really does confirm it. This is a very, very interesting chart that we have here, and you can see it right now. You see this is just a little bit, and we have this half squares and squares that are all connected with karmic things. So, you know, what is happening in the moment is kind of very difficult to understand for our ego, because we are not used to have, say, our program is not really allowed to see that. Our school education, everything what we had in our life was more or less indoctrination, but definitely not education. We were trained how we have to see the world and what is going on. And we create this kind of reality. And now this reality is crashing. So in a way, we can even look back at thousands of years. We might find some real truth back there, but definitely not in this time when a certain elite has been controlling the world. And that is several hundred years back. I cannot tell you exactly how long back it is, but it's a very long time. And what is happening right now in the world, whenever you look out into this chaos, that was prepared a long time ago. That is more than 100 years. Definitely that this has been prepared, and those certain people have diligently worked towards this goal, that they can crash the moral of people, and that this shift into the higher consciousness cannot happen. But luckily it is happening. And more people are awaking. But we can also see how difficult it is for so many to awaken, to really see the truth. The indoctrination, the program, the brainwash is so strong that they cannot see through that. Like it's being in a big mist or fog where you cannot see further. Now, when we look at this sun-moon opposition that we have here, the sun is still in Virgo, and we have here Mercury and Mars in a close conjunction that is also in the conjunction with the sun in Libra. So these two signs play a very big role in that. Libra, when we say that already, it is all about balancing. And we have the moon in Aries. See, this is again something we have only here when we look at the real sky. In Western astrology, we would never have an opposition from Virgo into Aries. It always would be Libra. But here it is possible, and it gives it a complete different energy, a complete different topic also in that way, and the dynamic that is not possible when we look at the Western tropical astrology. Now, we have still a lot of retrograde planets. Pluto has turned direct, and this has an effect that now, in a way, our transformation, this transformation, this caterpillar butterfly topic is active. It's not going back anymore. It's going forward again. So it's also something that you cannot escape. Wherever you are, whoever you are, it doesn't matter if you have a PhD or if you are a chef in a restaurant. It doesn't matter who you are. You all go through the same, because this shift that is happening now, this is the total crash of our society that will happen in the next years to come. But we have a good thing about it, because our cells, our innate, our divine guidance, in that way, I call it usually my upstairs team, that is the divine within us, knows exactly where we are going. Now imagine that when the divine knows where we are going, our human brain and program doesn't know. So here is a clash. Here is the difficulty are you going to listen to your brain, to your program, or can you kind of open this gate a little bit, go into other state of mind? You have to meditate once in a while, or just hold on, stand still. What I do is regularly I go walk barefoot in the garden, which helps a lot to be grounded, to reconnect with the true self. So I can see that the brainwash or the belief system that I had has already crashed. So it is still difficult to go forward, because from our way of thinking and training, we usually take something from the past and project it into the future, or we have role models that we look at, and of course they are not there anymore either. So we are kind of a little bit lost because we don't see the future anymore. So, but this is the great thing, we can create the future. Now here comes the point, because our higher self, and I say it again, it might be boring for some, we are divine beings having a human experience, and we have to stop to identify ourselves with the human being. So the moment when we are again reconnect with that divine, then inspiration, intuition, creativity are our main guides, and not the memory, the mind, and the brainwash and what we know. So this is the switch that we have to do. Now, when we come here, see, again, the sun, the consciousness, Virgo is the sign of harvest. So generally, we still tend to look at things from the past. And to a certain degree, this is also important, because now things that are not resolved, unfinished business, again, is coming to the surface to be balanced. And here, see, we have Mercury. You know how, that I work with Mercury, that this is the representative of the human being, if we have one in here, not the sun. So Mercury together with Mars is like that we are forcefully, and here confronted, when you look at the opposition, with something new. We have Moon and we have retrograde Mercury, that is the kind of bringing us back to the root, to the source of who we really are. Now, all that what is around us in the moment is more or less just backpack, stuff that we don't need anymore. It's also all our human fears that have been part of the program. We have to be afraid that we are not taken care of. This is one of the most important things to look at, because I have experienced it so many times. Once I trusted and I just jumped, it always worked out. And just to give you a little sample quickly, a long time ago, when I started to really work here in Asia, I was not able to make money here in Thailand. It was just impossible. I tried with jobs and everything, it never worked out. So I was invited to go to different places then for readings when I did a lot of volunteer work here. And we had the World Vegetarian Congress here in Thailand in '99. And at that time, I was still very strict vegetarian, not so strict anymore today. But I was there invited because I was conducting workshops beside the official program with only talking. And we had different spiritual things going on there. And I was invited to go to Singapore for workshops and their readings, astrology readings, one attended. And I was really, because I did mostly only volunteer work, but that was helped me to get to know other people. So I went with more or less my last 20 bucks, about 500 baht that I still have. I had purchased a flight and everything. And I flew to Singapore, and I was really devastated. And I was at one point, I nearly crashed down. I said, now I really need help. I need to go back. I need to pay my rent. I need to whatever, you know. And then I called a friend of mine who is also psychic, and I said, look, I don't know anymore what to do. I have this cold because I had to go into this very ice cold air conditioned room and have a talk, and I was not prepared. I didn't have warm clothes, and I started to cough. And then he said, "Well, I have a message for you from Saint-Germain. Soldier on, it will work out for you." So anyway, I did a lot of work. The next day I was okay, and I came home afterwards with plenty enough money that I could pay my rent and whatever I had to do. And I had a few more invitations to go to different places again to work. And this is how it started for me. That was around 2000, 1999, 2000. So you see, once you just kind of give up all these mind programs that it has to go like this and like this and like this and just jump. And for me, that was really a jump in a cold water. Then things start to work out. And since then, it always worked out. I've been invited to work in different places. And when I had my mother come to live with me, she brought her pension with her. So everything worked out. It still works out today. And the beauty is that once you let go of expectations, you start to experience what we talk about miracles. And see, this is what the moon, when we let go, because the moon in Aries is kind of difficult, because this is a fire sign, and the moon actually is sign that is connected with water, so fire and water. So that tension that we have actually at every full moon with sun and moon in opposition, then we have to let go of our emotions, of our expectations that are connected with emotions, to be able to see something new. And retrograde Jupiter here helps us to make that jump and have the courage to jump into something that we did not know how to do before. Because see, when we look at the orange here, it makes a square. And not 100%, a little bit beside here, but it makes that square that shows all these fear aspects that we have, the karmic shock aspects, also maybe the lessons that we have not understood yet. But how can you understand a lesson when you're so brainwashed into something that generally it's just about memorizing something what other people have said, but it is never our true and identical experience. You can only move forward with that what you experience. You don't have to experience everything. If you are a chef, you will experience a certain part of the world. If you're a gardener, you will be there. If you are a medical doctor, it's there. We will never have the same, but we had many lifetimes, so we can choose the experience we want. So within that experience that we have chosen, we can also like, for example, approach the whole topic in different ways. Like if you're learning mathematics, for example, and you go to school first and you started, you can use many things to learn. In the beginning, you can use apples, or you can use stones, or you can use branches, or whatever, to kind of start counting first and make the first steps in mathematics. And so it's in all topics we have. We always have the tools. Again, if you're a chef, you maybe use eggs. If you are a gardener, you maybe use branches or whatever. But it works, and it always will work. So this is how we move forward. And this is exactly what is required yet in this moment in time. See, we have here our human being, which is the conscious receiving, and then the making it conscious. So you receive, this is the moon, and then the circle is the consciousness, and then from this we manifest something. So you have an idea. The idea is like coming in through the vessel of the moon into your consciousness, For example, the idea that I go in the kitchen now and cook myself a jar of tea. Okay, then I manifest it. This idea, I go in the kitchen, I get the water kettle on, get the tea out and make tea. This is how we function. And this is the representative of Mercury, how we function. Now, this is exactly when we have Mars here with Libra. So there is a forceful push to balance what is not balanced in our life, and the input from the sun that comes in here, this is the past, this is our past experience, and also in that case very clearly the past experience that has not worked out for us. And this is here in the orange line, we see the aspects of the karmic mistake aspect. And again, listen into the word mistake. It's not possible that you have a mistake, because the word itself says you miss to take it. So it is also the spelling, you know, we have to be careful. And I just learned something this morning that was really great. You know, rebel. And she, Silke, my friend, she sent the beautiful pictures of a bell. And the rebel, rebel. This is recalibrate. The rebel comes from the word, from the bell, and the bell is a sound that recalibrates, because that's why the church bells, or the bells actually even before church, and the gong were there to recalibrate our energy. So rebel is recalibrate, rebel. So just listening to the words, and this is fantastic once you start to listen and look into the words deeper, what you can see. So we have the karmic aspects that we missed something. We have not completed our experience. Maybe we died before we could finish the experience, or we were distracted and went another way. And then we have the karmic shock aspects. And this is always, you know, when you look back in the last few thousand years even, there was a lot of war, a lot of also very negative, shocking things that happen, painful things when you think about what they tell us about torture, which is still in a way today here, but in a different way. So there are a lot of shock experiences that we had, and this is a trauma. So for example, if something happened that really shocked you, what we do usually is like we go, and this means that our breath is held for a moment. We don't breathe anymore, and that gives us a little bit of a blockage within our energy field. And now we have to release that. What I experience a lot is also dreams. I had very weird dreams sometimes, and sometimes I wake up with a real nightmare. So what the heck? And you know, they are connected with experiences like that, but they will show themselves as something that you understand now as symbolic. And I mentioned that before. For example, if you've been a general in an army once, and maybe on your account, maybe 5,000 people died, you know, it's not that in the karmic sense you also die 5,000 times, but you will experience the pain or the yeah, you will have that kind of experience, what you have done from the other side. And how many times and how strong this will be, that depends very much on you, how fast you learn, for example, compassion. The moment you learn it, you have got your lesson, you don't need to have that anymore. But we have past lives that go very far back, that we don't remember, but there is a little bit of unfinished business, and this can be done in dream work. So the thing is, just let it go, and even go maybe to the point where, thank you for this nightmare. I know that I have worked through something that I didn't have to work through in my awake life here as that human being that I represent in the moment. So a lot of things is going on here, and it's not easy. You can see there we have a little bit support from Uranus to Venus, but you know, this is always like difficult, because sudden things are happening that we have, for example, somebody in our life that we have thought that is this and this person, and suddenly that person shows us a complete different side, and we are very surprised to see something like that. So this is connected with different surprises. And then we have also the retrograde Saturn here is also in a trine to come down to the sun. See, Saturn is always connected with the end of something. It is the last of the earth signs. That is, you know, like everything in the material, it has a beginning, it has a peak, and it has an end. And when we come to Saturn, it's always connected in a way to an end. And you can see that Saturn is in Aquarius and is in the 9th house, that is helping us to move beyond boundaries. With the Aquarius aspect, it will force us to focus on things that we have not yet seen or that we have not worked with yet. So this will help us to move forward. Pluto is not connected with the other planets, so we just leave that for now. But we can see here that Neptune is connected with the 1.5 squares. So that means that things are coming out of a deep unconscious or for somewhere we cannot see it. It might be even grotesque that you think, why is this happening to me? Or why this not more smooth or whatever the transition in the moment. And the only answer that we have is again that we don't know, because our programming is not there that we can totally understand what is going on. We can only feel it. I can only explain it like this. Like you have many times experienced in a meditation that you have a feeling of bliss. And for example, you're in a group, you meditate, you have visualization or whatever you do. And you share your meditation and you come to the point where you cannot share your feelings because you don't have words for it. And see, this is also, for example, I emphasize that I'm asked very often, would you do this workshop online or whatever, when I work with flower essences or things like that, for example. I said no. And people sometimes they're really angry at me. So, but you know, I cannot give you the experience. I don't want you to have another program. I want you to have another experience. So if you are here and you go through the experience, when we do the meditations and all the stuff to learn how to work with the flowers, to go through it, that's a complete different thing than when you just read a book or you learn it. And again, here, that's the same. Now it's a time you have to go through this process. And whatever you have learned and what you're programmed to do or to be, it won't help you. You have to let it go. So the best is, again, just when you get up in the morning for a new day, ask your spirit guides, your, as I call it, my obsessed team, to support you, to be with you, to tell you what you need to know. And again, asking questions. Yes, you can, if you have very specific program things coming up for the day that you have already programmed. But generally ask, tell me what I need to know, because you might not know what's coming this day. So if you ask, for example, okay, I have to, this meeting with the boss, help me with that meeting or whatever it is, and tell me what I need to know. This is the best way to go. Then you will know at any time what you need to know, and not again from the program, that you don't need to kind of grab back the old stuff, your old experience, that this can slowly go away. That more and more you reconnect with your higher self, with your divine self, with the source. And we come here, see this X is here. we have from IC going from Leo, we're going from ego into higher self. This is very beautiful because this axis here shows us exactly what to do with. And Gemini, this is the communication. We have Mercury here in Libra, the balance, that this is the balance that will help us to move beyond boundaries, that we can achieve the true connection with our higher self and shatter that old paradigm and let go of all the expectations that are connected with it. So that was another moon reading. And for those that I promised, here a little bit update, and I will post some pictures in my blog about my furry family. Okay, I have 3 dogs now. The little one, Sandy, she is just very naughty and she bites into everything. Now I have my German Shepherd. She is here now. Sarah Sheila is not too happy with her. She still growls, but she is more irritated by the little one. And what is really funny, that my new dog, the German Shepherd, Lara, she plays with the little one. They bonded and they really fool around. And in this morning when I went walking with them, it was so funny to see that little one running, and she with, you know, like with big steps forward. It was hilarious. I will put a few more pictures. And you know, I still say Sarah sometimes, and it's kind of very interesting. You know, I had a dog many years ago, and her name was Zora. And she was actually handicapped. The breeder gave her to me when I bought Momo. And he said, please take her. She had an accident when the mother gave birth, and she had some hip problems. And she was a beautiful dog, absolutely gorgeous. And she died when she was 7 months old. And now this dog come to me, she's 6 or 7 months old, and she has exactly that very slender figure like Zora had. And I caught myself a few times calling her Zora. So I'm not sure, but maybe it is Zora that came back to me. But she bonded immediately already in the car when I took her home. It was really beautiful. So that's my update, and I look forward to see you again. I will try to make another card reading in between the next dark moon reading. Bye-bye for now, everybody, and I wish you have a good full moon experience tomorrow. Bye-bye.